fear. It's the invisible wall that keeps us from chasing our dreams, speaking up, or taking that first step. But what if I told you that fear is just an illusion, a shadow that disappears when you step into the light? This is the story of Ryan, a young man who learned how to overcome fear and take action. And by the end of this video, you'll have the key to do the same in your own life. Ryan had a dream. Ever since he was a teenager, he wanted to start his own business. He imagined himself creating something valuable, making an impact, and living life on his terms. But every time he thought about actually starting, a familiar voice echoed in his mind. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not good enough? These thoughts played on repeat, paralyzing him. Instead of taking action, he spent years watching YouTube videos about success, reading books on entrepreneurship, and dreaming about someday. But someday never came because fear always stopped him. One day, Ryan met up with an old friend, Jake, who had recently launched a successful online business. They sat in a cozy cafe, catching up over coffee. Ryan couldn't hide his admiration. "Man, you're killing it. I saw your website. Your business is doing great. How did you do it?" Ryan asked. Jake chuckled. "It wasn't easy, man. I was terrified at first." Ryan leaned forward, surprised. "Wait, you were scared too?" Jake nodded. "Of course. Fear doesn't go away on its own. The difference is, I didn't let it stop me." Ryan frowned. "But how? Every time I think about starting, I freeze." Jake smiled. "Let me tell you a story. There was once a famous tightrope walker who performed incredible stunts. He walked across the highest ropes without fear, amazing crowds everywhere he went. One day a young man asked him, "How do you do it? How do you walk across the rope without fear?" The tightrope walker laughed and said, "Oh, I feel fear every time, but I trust my training and take the first step. After that, fear fades because I am moving." Ryan listened carefully, letting the story sink in. Jake continued, "Fear only wins if you do nothing. It's like a fog. It looks thick and scary from far away. But when you walk into it, you realize it's not as bad as you thought." Ryan sat back in his chair thinking. He had spent years waiting for fear to disappear before taking action, but maybe he had it backward. That night, Ryan made a decision. He wasn't going to let fear control him anymore. Instead of waiting to feel confident, he would take one small action, just one. The next morning, he set a timer for 10 minutes and worked on his business plan. It wasn't much, but it was progress, and something incredible happened. He felt a little less afraid. The next day, he took another small step. He registered a domain for his website. The fear was still there, but it was quieter. Day by day, he kept moving forward. He reached out to a designer for his logo. He started learning digital marketing. He created a simple website. With each step, he realized something important. Fear didn't disappear overnight, but it did shrink every time he took action. And just like the tightrope walker, Ryan realized that fear only controlled him when he stood still. A few months later, Ryan faced his biggest test. He had to pitch his business idea to a group of investors. This was the moment that would determine whether his dream became a reality or faded away. As he prepared for the presentation, the fear returned stronger than ever. His hands were sweaty, his heart pounded. The old thoughts crept back in. What if I mess up? What if they say no? What if I fail? He almost convinced himself to cancel the meeting. But then he remembered Jake's words. Fear only wins if you do nothing. Taking a deep breath, he walked onto the stage. His voice shook at first, but he kept speaking. With every word, his confidence grew. By the time he finished, the fear was gone. And to his surprise, the investors loved his idea. They offered him funding to launch his business. That day, Ryan learned the most valuable lesson of his life. Action kills fear. Ryan's journey didn't end there. He continued facing challenges, but he never let fear stop him again. Here's what he discovered. 1. Fear never fully disappears. It will always be there when you're stepping into the unknown. But that's a good thing. It means you're growing. 2. Action is the cure. Fear only controls you when you stand still. The moment you take action, even a small step, fear starts to fade. 3. Failure isn't the enemy. The real enemy is never trying. Every mistake is a lesson that brings you closer to success. 4. Confidence comes from doing. You don't need confidence to start. Confidence is built by taking action, failing, learning, and improving. Ryan's story is a reminder that fear is not the problem. Inaction is. So what about you? What's the fear holding you back? Is it starting a business? Speaking up? Making a change in your life? You don't need to feel fearless to start. You just need to take one step. Because once you start moving, fear loses its power. Now I have a challenge for you. What is one action you can take today to overcome your fear? Comment below and let me know. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivation.